underrated. It's a lot of fun, and I am film critic Rachel Wagner. Stanford's here.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, I'm well, thank you. Excited to talk with you
Good.
about this movie.
Well, part of the reason why I wanted to talk about Megamind, and that's what we're talking about this month, is because it came out the same year as Despicable Me, and Despicable Me is definitely the movie that became this phenomenon.
Was the monster hit and spawned all these sequels now, and yeah,
Yep. And we've got Minions 2: The Rise of Gru coming out this weekend. And I literally just got back from the the premiere, the screening. So I just thought it would be fun for this week with this new sequel coming out to talk about the one what could have been, to talk about Megamind, which I think is better, and it's a very similar story. And so that's going to be fun. I think this
I
is, of
think
course,
so
from
too.
DreamWorks.
Yes, DreamWorks Animation, as you mentioned, from 2010.
Yeah, and was this a movie that did you? I know you're not the biggest DreamWorks fan, but did you
To
see this when
say
it
the
came out?
least. I'm working on it though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I did see this one in theaters, mostly because I thought the trailer looked strong, the premise
Uh-huh.
of it, and the voice cast seemed,
Yeah.
it was all appealing.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
so random. It's one of those weird things in Hollywood when you have two of the basically the same idea come out the same year. That we'd have two major animated films about villains.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Despicable Me when it came out?
I did. I saw both Despicable Me and Megamind in the theater. Go
Look at you.
figure. I'm
Yeah.
the
And
DreamWorks hater, and not and kind of the. I don't know. I'm not a hater of Illumination, but I can't say that I love all their product.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, Illumination, we're talking off air that I really do actually admire their company and how well it is run and how well they kind of know their brand. I think it's very impressive that even a movie like Sing 2 that came out right in the thick of the of Omicron, that somehow it made over
Yeah,
$400 million, well, on
it
a, like,
just
I think a
killed it.
60 million, something like that, budget.
Yeah,
So they made bank during like the hardest time to make
really
money.
hard time. Like the only
Yeah.
movie people were going to was Spider-Man, and everything else people were just we're staying away from, except for
Yeah,
Sing
and
2.
they managed to find these movies that rarely are number 1 in the box office, but are consistently just have this staying power
Yeah,
and are number 2, number 3 for a long, long time. And it's very impressive. And what I've heard, went to a panel at Annecy, and just from some other things I've heard, that Illumination's a great company to work for, and they treat their employees really well, and that's not always the case in animation. I mean, the first, I think, was the first Angry Birds movie where I think it's Blizzard, the animators were worked crazy hours, and it was just a really
yeah.
bad situation. You hear about those things happening from time to time, and so it is nice that it seems like they are just a very well run company.
Hmm.
But I just wish I liked their movies better.
Exactly. I'm totally on the fence about seeing Minions at the Rise of Gru, but
I
anyway,
mean, it
we'll
was
just have to
nice to
see.
just actually see it in the theaters, because we've been having trailers for
Trailers for
so
two
long.
plus years.
Yeah.
Just like Top
Uh,
Gun, Maverick, which
mhm.
was such a pleasant surprise how good that movie
Yeah.
was. But
Yeah.
I have a feeling that this wasn't like that. Minions, The Rise of Gru was not that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Megamind. So
Yes.
yes, both Despicable Me and Megamind came out in 2010, and it's really interesting because especially Megamind really plays like a satire of superhero movies,
Yes.
but you think that it was just at the very start of the, superhero movement. I mean, the Marvel
At
Cinematic Universe
least the
had only been
rise of the
alive for,
MCU.
yeah, for
Yeah,
2
yeah.
years. And so it really was kind of ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
I agree that they, yeah, it was almost like, yeah, they were really just ahead of the time, or a little prophetic, to see what the cinema landscape would look. Because I gotta tell you, I mean, I thought Megamind was okay when I saw it in 2010. I liked it so much more now, and maybe because it's again all the
Yeah.
superhero movies that have happened over the last 12 years. Been a lot.
Yeah, it really does ring a lot more true. I think especially the really sort of self-serious, reverential superhero movie is what it's making a lot of fun of. And
Mhm.
we've had so many of those come out. I mean, I especially there were so many things that felt like a jab at Man of Steel, even though Man of Steel hadn't come out
I
yet.
know. I
But
was thinking that
it was
too. Like,
prosaic
this is
almost.
Man of Steel.
Yeah, especially this beginning, the start of the movie, uh it just feels
It's
so
right out
much
of
a
Superman.
parody of
Yeah.
Superman the
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
from Richard Donner.
Yep.
Yeah. They
It,
even get later on when you see him as basically supposed to be Superman's father.
father, Jor-El, right?
Jor-El, that's right,
Yeah.
Jor-El, yeah. I mean, it looks just like Marlon Brando,
I
a mini
know.
Marlon Brando.
It's mini Marlon Brando.
But the beginning, you have them sending off Megamind to a better world, and also sending Metro Man, and in the capsule or whatever. And of course, Megamind's capsule gets bumped all around, has this horrible thing. He ends up in the prison.
Yeah.
And that was very just like the beginning of Superman, the movie.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was very clever, and that play between Metro Man and
Hmm.
Megamind.
Yeah.
Uh, that even as young as babies, there was this competition
Hmm.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some really nice, like long swinging shots of going through Metropolis that I think are really nicely animated in this. I think the director did a very good job.
Yeah, I know what we'll get to. I agree with you. I thought particularly at the beginning. Well, actually,
Hmm.
the animation, the 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 backgrounds and the layout and stuff I think is really good. I have some issues with the character animation, but we can get into
Mm.
that in
Yeah.
a bit.
Tom McGrath is the director, and I think he does a really good job capturing the feel of sort of that
Yes,
superhero
the
aesthetic.
superhero aesthetic. Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, really emphasis on. I think I felt a lot of it was like Superman
Hmm.
movies, but it fits in with so many other films within the superhero
Hmm.
genre. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they're able to make in both movies, to be honest, in Despicable Me and in Megamind, they're able to make a character be a villain without actually like really being a villain.
I think that's
That.
another thing that I really liked about it too is that it kept a pretty good comedic touch throughout
Hmm.
the film. It doesn't go to a place that's super serious or that seems totally out of place. I mean,
Yeah. Because
there's some dramatic turns, but I think mostly it's played for laughs, and yeah, it works.
yeah, because in Despicable Me, it's helped by the fact that he has the girls, and so that kind of tempers
Right?
down his villainy.
Yes.
Um, and I actually prefer the girls over the minions. I always feel like I wish they had been the
The
ones that take
girls, I
off because
know,
I
should
think
have their own spin-off.
yeah, I think they're better than the minions. The minions are so annoying.
The minions
But
are too much. The girls are pretty adorable. Yeah.
yeah, in Megamind, I think he's sort of treated like an underdog, and you never really see him like hurting people,
No,
even though he's a villain.
exactly. Even though he's a villain and he's kind of he's kind of up to no good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the strength though is Will Ferrell's performance,
Yeah.
because I mean Will Ferrell is just so funny to begin with, and they give him so much great material. Anytime he mispronounces a word, I know
Yeah.
that it's coming, but I always laughed. I mean, I laughed
Hmm.
every time, and so
Yeah. He's good
I
at this kind of course, we would see him coming up later in a similar kind of villain role in the Lego movie,
yeah,
this Lord
exactly.
Business.
It's
Uh,
very kind of similar, uh, isn't it? That's a really
mhm.
good point.
Yeah, and there was just a lot. There's a lot of funny writing, I think, in this
I
movie.
think the script and the voice cast to me is this film's
Mhm.
strength. There's its strengths. They're so good.
Yeah. One of my favorites is when Megamind and Metro Man are fighting. We get this really good kind of back and forth, this banter between them, and he says, "Over here, old friend, in case you've noticed, you've fallen right into my trap." And Metro Man says, "You can't trap justice. It's an idea, a belief." And then Megamind says, "Even the most heartfelt belief can get corroded over time." "Justice is a non corrosive metal, but metals can be melted by the heat of revenge." "It's revenge, not revenge." "And
Yeah.
it's best served cold." And Megamind says, "But it can be easily reheated in the microwave of evil." Metro Man says, "Well, I think your warranty's about to expire." "I got an extended warranty." "Your warranties are invalid if used beyond their intended purpose." And then Roxanne finally says, "Girls, girls, you're both pretty. Can I go home now?"
Yeah. Tina Fey in her perfect
That is a
deadpan.
really funny
That
sequence, I
is
think.
such a brilliant scene. And I mean, I'm so glad you captured that interchange because it's so funny. And
Yeah.
this is a great role for Brad Pitt
Hmm.
too. He
Hmm.
I think he's very good. Uh,
Yeah, he is really good, whether in live action or in animated roles, playing that kind of suave,
yes.
confident guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just how you kind of picture Superman to be if he were kind of like a cocky jerk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But he handles it so well. So and then Tina Fey's performance. They give
Hmm.
her, I think again the writing's solid. I think for all these
Yeah.
characters, and her delivery is so perfect.
And I'm
Yeah,
normally not the biggest fan of hers. I just don't love 30 Rock, and I don't like a lot of her movies aside from Mean Girls. But she works really well here,
yeah. Does it
and
work for you? Does her performance work okay for
yeah, I
you
think here
in
it
this
works.
movie?
It works well, and she's also in well, she's in Soul, of course,
Yeah.
and then she is also in Ponyo
Oh, right. That's right.
in the.
She's that English dub for Ponyo.
So
Yeah.
maybe animated films is my sweet
Animated
spot for
films
Tina Fey.
are better. Are
That
better.
or
Yeah.
Mean Girls.
Mean Girls. She's pretty great in Mean Girls.
um, yeah, I like the fact that Roxanne is just so not impressed. She's been abducted so many times at this point that she's
I do
just like,
too. And
uh,
that and you never really feel necessarily that like she's in grave danger.
mm-hmm,
She's just she's just got this attitude
mm-hmm.
and yeah.
Yeah, and Megamind says that he's got he's incredibly handsome and master of all villainy. Because Metro Man is getting a whole museum to him for him, in honor of him with a huge statue and
That
everything like
statue
that.
that's like the size of the building itself, the skyscraper.
Are you a fan of Rachel's reviews? Do you look forward to Family Movie Night, Female Film Critics panels, or the Talking Disney podcast? If so, please consider supporting the podcast by becoming a patron. As a patron, you get to access monthly events such as the watch-alongs and Q&As, where you get to talk to stars and find out the behind the scenes of the movie making industry. And you can pick what I review for Family Movie Night or even become a guest on the podcast. Podcasts and YouTube channels are expensive, and I really, really could use your help. I would so appreciate it. You also get to be a member of the Facebook group where we talk about all the films that we're seeing, and we have so much fun. Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies and select one of the Rachel's fan tiers. That's patreon.com/hallmarkies.
But Roxanne's not impressed with the gadgets, and I like it when he says, "I'm shaking in my baby seal boots." What do you think of Titan Jonah Hill playing Hal, that role? What do you
See,
think of that?
again, sorry, I'm a broken record, but I just think the voice cast was so great in this film. I thought it was a really good role for Jonah Hill
Yeah.
because Titan plays, kind of this. I mean, Titan is this. He's Roxanne's cameraman, so in that way, he's second fiddle, and he's got a crush on her, and he's awkward, and I just think Jonah Hill really. I mean, of course, they capture that in the animation, but Jonah Hill really captures that in his performance. And then when he gets powers,
it's interesting that Roxanne sees it from the very beginning, and she says he's the absolute worst person that you could give powers to. And Roxanne says, "Could someone stamp my frequent kidnapping plan card?" And so
yeah, so I really I like John. Again, I like how they wrote the character, and I really like Jonah Hill's performance because I just feel like he's good at kind of playing this in a way.
Yeah.
This character is a bit of an outcast, but also who's insecure, but also has a real chip on his shoulder too. And anyway, I thought he nailed it. What did you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he kind of reminds me of Syndrome a little bit in the ways that he feels kind of entitled. And
yes, it's very much There's some Incredibles, I think that you can see it. In fact, what I was wishing for a lot, Rachel, was more Pixar quality animation with this script.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was very reminiscent of Syndrome. Good call.
Yeah, and I mean, in really, when you think about our current kind of social media kind of environment, it feels all the more, sort of these entitled fans, and it feels almost
relevant.
all the more kind of relevant than it probably did even in 2010.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but we find out supposedly that Copper drains Metro Man, again another obvious Superman comparison, and Metro Man gets blown up in the tower. He's gone. Megamind wins. And this is where I wrote down particularly some great long shots through this whole scene of them fighting. They also have really, really great music in this movie. The music cues, I think, are very strong.
Yeah, the music cues are good, aren't they? And I think when I saw this in 2010, again, because, I have very mixed feelings about DreamWorks content, but I felt sometimes that was a little contrived, or they were relying on it too much. But this rewatch, it really worked. Just say I was just able to really enjoy it, and I thought that the music cues were well done and appropriate, and and funny.
The score is by Hans Zimmer and Rene Balfe,
which is pretty cool.
And Hans has done a lot of scores for DreamWorks that kind of under the radar. He did for the Kung Fu Panda movies. He did those. He did for Boss Baby movies, both of those. Um, and and he did this, and I think even some others that I'm, did he do How to Train Your Dragon? I can't remember, but
I
anyway,
can't remember, but I wonder if he probably did, or maybe.
yeah, he's done a bunch for DreamWorks, so we can say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And there's some of his his superhero scores can be very or can be a little overdone for me.
Well,
I mean, I
he
just
did
feel like
Man of
I've heard the
Steel. Didn't he do Man of
yeah. I
Steel?
mean, he did Man of Steel. He did all the Dark Knight movies. He did the all those movies with Christopher Nolan, like Interstellar.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can just be a little like dung, dung, like heavy to me. And so it's kind of refreshing actually to listen to one of these DreamWorks scores from him, because it's just like, oh, this is fun. This is different.
That is fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Even a movie that I don't particularly care for, like Boss Baby, it's like, oh, was a fun score.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he does that, and yeah, they just have a huge soundtrack with movies with songs like Highway to Hell, Crazy Train, Mr. Blue Sky, Welcome to the Jungle, Bad by Michael Jackson. Yeah, really big score.
Yeah.
I mean, soundtrack.
Really, and just really fun,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was very funny how they managed to the way they staged it for Highway to Hell, you didn't have them saying hell very often. They kept having words there, the dialogue there. So when interrupt would be like highway to
And then they would talk over it.
I forget exactly how they did it, but I was like noticing that it wasn't actually saying hell very much.
It was a really good use of it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kept getting interrupted, the Highway to Hell.
They wouldn't have to change their rating. I don't know if hell is one of those words that there's a limit on. Keep it a PG.
So in this movie, they have a minion, not minions, voiced by David Cross.
Yes.
What did you think of the minion in here?
Well, I quite like David Cross's humor,
Mm-hmm.
and so I thought it was funny. I thought it was a good choice.
Yeah.
The the fish in a ball thing, clearly it's been done. It's been done before, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe because of David Cross's performance, and I thought that the animation of the character itself was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, and it was nice for Megamind to have a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
In the story,
and it worked, and their repartee I always thought was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you said that you didn't love the character designs.
Yeah.
But what was their particular character, or just in general, all of them?
So, just in general, and again, part of it is just my,
Mm-hmm.
my dislike for DreamWorks, just from historical purposes, over time. But I thought for sure I didn't like the character design of Roxanne. I think that some of those DreamWorks designs, to me, they all run together. Like any of these characters, I mean, Megamind, hello, giant blue head. That's different. But it's just like with Boss Baby or some of these, others where they're just animating humans, that they're interchangeable. And I don't think any of them are that great.
Yeah.
But it's a nitpick, and I was just able to look over it more this time, mostly because Jeffrey Katzenberg's gone. I was trying to let
there
go.
is a definite DreamWorks style, just like there's a definite Disney style.
Yeah, and
with
Pixar
sort of
style.
the big eyes in Disney, and kind of the look that they have. There's a Pixar style as well.
Yeah,
they have more variety, I think, in their especially early movies, but there's definitely a DreamWorks style and character design, and I said in my trailer reaction to Strange World, I said this feels very DreamWorksy to me, and we'll see how that movie ends up turning out. But and I didn't necessarily mean that as an insult. It just
Right.
there's a look that DreamWorks has, and in the way that the faces are designed, the way the eyes are designed, that you just know, you can tell this is a
Yeah.
DreamWorks film.
The color, the way they use a color palette, and yeah,
Hmm.
I agree with you. There's a very distinct style. I think that's one of the reasons, though, why I really one of the extra reasons why I really like the Bad Guys,
Yeah,
DreamWorks, one of the DreamWorks
that's
movies from
true.
this year, because they really deviated from their normal style, and
Hmm.
I welcomed it.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's true that that studio out of Canada that they've been working with has made kind of a different style, like
mhm.
with Captain Underpants for them. Uh, that one had a different look about it as well. So
And
uh,
what we've seen in the trailers for the new Puss in Boots sequel, it
right,
also, I think, it has, and I've got to increase my vocabulary. It looks to me like it'd be very painterly style,
yeah,
and I love it, and I welcome it, and I'm so glad that they're doing that rather than more of kind of like classic DreamWorks style, which I would put it here, with Megamind and with
hmm
you know the Boss
Madagascar,
Baby and man,
Boss
yeah,
Baby,
yeah,
and Boss Baby does have the same director
yeah.
as Megamind. Todd McGrath did both the Boss Baby movies, and he also did all the Madagascar movies. So there's probably some
And
of that too.
there's something to that
But
too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So we have the minion, and we get this whole sequence where there's a lot of music: Highway to Hell, Crazy Train, um, and so Megamind is feeling uh, lost without his alter ego to fight against,
That's right.
without Metro Man.
He's lost his nemesis. It was
Yeah.
his sole purpose.
Yeah. And so then we have Bernard, who's working at the library, and uh, and and Megamind has a changing thing, that device that he can become Bernard. And there were some funny lines, like when he said that his dream was the illiteracy beam, and then Robo Sheep. It's battles we will never have. The
That
illiteracy beam. That was funny.
was funny.
Hmm. So he replicates Bernard to try to get closer to Roxanne. And he decides heroes aren't born; they can be made. And so he wants to create a hero because he has no purpose. He finds Metro Man's DNA, and uh, the he finds Bernard's phone. And then Roxanne finds Megamind's hideout, and she's like, "Oh, it's just the building, the other building with a observatory or whatever in it."
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
I thought the Black Mamba cape was kind of funny. This is
Yes,
like looking great.
absolutely. It's funny. Yeah.
And the minion sees right through it, and he says, "Oh, you've fallen in love with Miss Ritchie, with Roxanne," and Megamind says she will never find out. That's the point of lying. Don't you know the bad guy doesn't get the girl? And then he says, maybe I don't want to be the bad guy anymore. And I think that that's, again, why we're able to kind of make it all work, is because we don't really see him as the bad guy.
Right.
We never actually
We
like see
never
him kill
have.
people or.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
you know, I agree. And what I think makes it so clever too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he decides to. We also get, this is when we get Space Dad, and like I said, it's sort of this riff on Marlon Brando, which was good.
Yeah.
and then we have this training session for Hal, where he's chosen, and then because there's this gun that either gives power or defuses power, and they get this great training montage to Mr. Blue Sky.
It's a great montage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so then Roxanne meets Titan, and he thinks that she's going to be super impressed by him. She's not. And this is when she says, Hal is the worst possible person you could pick. Because she's, I guess, senses this kind of bitterness with him.
Yeah.
That he has this potential to really be a villain.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this kind of chemistry between Bernard and Roxanne.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see why she's into Bernard. He's supposed to be kind of like a beatnik kind of guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they actually kiss, and then he turns into Megamind, and she's horrified, of course. And this is when they have "Welcome to the Jungle," and Megamind's like the giant robot. Welcome to the jungle.
It really works.
And and Hal says, being a hero is for losers. I only took the gig to get the girl, and Roxanne doesn't want anything to do with me. And so, yeah, I mean, if I was going to pick a character design that I don't love, it would probably be Titan / Hal.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird design.
Yeah, I don't like that design either. Right after
Mm-hmm.
Roxanne, that's probably the one I like the least too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they have this fail safe where they're going to try to destroy Titan with copper, and it turns out it doesn't work. And so there's like, ooh, what happened to Metro Man? And he says, stop comparing me to Metro Man. So then they find Metro Man's hangout at the school. School.
I love that. I laugh every time with the mispronunciations. I mean, it's so easy, but it's just too funny.
Mm-hmm. And they find out Metro Man is alive. He's now Music Man.
Yeah, Metro Man has turned into Music Man, and then he just was tired of it, right? He just wanted a peaceful life.
I like it when they say, granted you have talent, but there's a madman out there destroying our city. So we find out, that he has faked his death. And that's all, I think, very funny. And we also find out the Titan has renamed the city into Titanville.
Yeah.
With fire into the street. And I think they do a pretty good job of escalating tension.
I do too. I do too. In that third act, it's really this battle is, it's like Titan's a problem. Titan's a real problem.
Yeah, and I mean they can't make it too scary because it's you're gonna have kids seeing it, but I think they have some tension. It's definitely feeling like, how are they gonna fix this?
Yeah, like, how in the world are they gonna make this right?
Mm-hmm. And Titan says, this is the first time we've hung out socially, and it's when I'm going to destroy the whole city. Which, I mean, I don't feel like that Roxanne should be blamed for this man's behavior
No.
within the story, but he's never like validated for that. Like he's wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I don't feel like Roxanne made Titan, because even though she didn't fall for any of his kind of awkward advances, uh, he still would have been crazy. You know, he still would have
Yeah.
done. I think he still would have done this, and just
Mm-hmm.
you know, to
And
somebody else.
Roxanne says, "The Megamind I know would never have run from a fight. It was your best quality." So that's a good moment.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. I like that too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
making helping. She's the one who helps Megamind kind of get his head back together and fight.
Mm-hmm. And then Metro Man comes back and he says, "My death details of my death has been greatly exaggerated."
Really exaggerate.
But we find out it's not actually Metro Man; it's actually Megamind doing the
Doing
disguise.
his fancy disguise thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do like the way. I mean, his character design is unique, but I do like the way that you get kind of the blue in his head has like there's some notes of like purple and pink and white and things like that. Like,
It's cool how they did it.
yeah, it's cool.
There's some real gradation to that color, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I liked it too.
Mm-hmm. And they find the invisible car, and Roxanne says to Tiny, "You did the full thing all by yourself," and she gets the diffuser gun on Titan, and and he says, "I finally had a reason to win you," which was cute.
Yeah.
For Megamind. So they end up. It really is actually kind of a love story.
I know. I was just gonna say. It turns out there's this kind of nice little love story in it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it's very unexpected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
At least for
they
me, was it
yeah.
expected? Could you see it coming, Rach? You're so
No,
good
I agree.
with this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and they really do get along. You know, it's not like Beauty and the Beast, but it is in the sense like when they first find the Beast, he's a beast, and as they get to know each other, they actually find out they have more in common. It's kind of a similar arc that we have here for
Yeah.
Megamind and Roxanne.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he says being good has its perks, and that's when you get the bad Michael Jackson song.
Such a
Which is
great
good.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They spent a ton of money on music.
Oh my goodness. Seriously. I really did.
This movie.
Yeah.
Which is also true about Despicable Me. They also spent a ton of money on music for that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. They rely a lot on that, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just think it's witty. I think it's funny. I think the animation is good. I think it's a clever parody of superhero movies that I think only has gotten better over the years. And I don't know. I just think it's better. I think it's more funny. And I guess just your mileage may vary when it comes to the Minions, and it's I don't love the Minions. So I like this movie better. And of course, some people can like both. That's fine, but this is just me. And so I think the script, they did a very good job and made a witty, funny script. And like I said, as superheroes movies have become so part of the lexicon and so part of movies, I think it makes this movie better.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right. Well, very good. We did it. We talked about Megamind.
Megamind.
We've done we've talked about Rise of the Guardians and Prince of Egypt. I think those are the only DreamWorks movies we've talked about together.
And
so
Spirit. Didn't we
Spirit.
talk about Spirit too,
That's
Rach?
right. That's right.
Yeah. The original Spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let us know what you think of this movie. Do you think it's underrated like we do? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section or on Twitter. And Stanford, how can people find you?
On Twitter, I'm at Stanford Clark, and I have a movie podcast and blog at moviespastandpresent.com.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media. iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, if you are listening to this episode on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. 5 stars. And if you are watching or listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that so much. We also have the Patreon group, which is so much fun. And we have the merch store, which has hashtag Animation Junkie designs and shirts that you can get. So please take a look at that. We would so appreciate it. And yeah, let us know what you think. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone.
Hey, thanks. Bye.